Hey everybody, Joe from Britical Saiyans here, and today I'm going to be going through my Vegeta baby deck profile. I'm going to say straight away, so I did play this at the regionals, but there's been a small, well I played it at the Euros I should say, there's been a small change because I had one of the 5-drop baby, but afterwards I got 2 more, so anyone who's seen this I did play, yes it's different. For everyone else it doesn't really matter, and it's just also important for us to kind of get the deck profile done as soon as possible, what with baby now surging in popularity. So start with, we have the lead card. So it's also when this attacks lead card, draw a card, and active main once per turn, choose one card in your life out of your hand. You then choose one of your opponent's battle cards that loses 5k for the duration of the turn. So obviously you pick something weak enough and you just pop it straight away, like a Borgos or Kami, which is more of a threat than Dende in this deck. And he flips 2 energy back to active on the Awaken into Saiyan Power Vegeta Baby. So he has the ordinary auto when it attacks, draw a card, and the active main of active main once per turn, choose one of your battle cards that loses 15 power for the duration of the turn. If you do so, choose up to 2 of your opponent's battle cards and then lose 10,000 for the duration of the turn. So there is a small combo in here that's useful. It's also just a nice way to pop things on the board, so if your opponent's playing like the Veggie deck, you can pop that green 2-drop Carver that just spawns things out. I mean, it will spawn stuff out afterwards, but that permanent ability is really useful to them, so you can just kill it off. And obviously you pick something of yours that you either don't mind dying, or something that's swung and can survive losing 15k. So go on to the extra cards. There's a fair few for this deck. So to start with, we have 2 of the 0 cost strategies of Universe 7, and the other 0 cost we have 2 of is Vow Revenge. So strategies Universe 7 is the active main of choose all your red Saiyan cards in your battle area and you gain barrier until the end of your opponent's turn, or the end of your opponent's next turn. So obviously useful because our big things like the 4 and above babies are Saiyans as well as being machine mutants, so this keeps them alive. It means that your opponent has to kill them through battle, which is fine if you don't swing them, or you just combo into them because you can't need them. And the Vow Revenge is active main. If your lead card is Machine Mutant, choose one of your opponent's battle cards and it loses 15k power for the duration of the turn. So again, it's a nice way to pop stuff on the board. It doesn't cost you anything. You run these as like a 2-2 lineup because you don't want one clogging up the deck, and a lot of the time your opponent's playing like barrier stuff, so having too many Vow Revenge is just pointless. But they're just nice tech cards to have. So going on to the 1 cost extra cards, we have 2 copies of the Afterimage Technique. So this is one of the counters for the deck. It's not negate, very clear to point that out. So it's counter attack. If your lead card is red, choose one of your cards and it gains 40,000 power for the duration of the battle. Then choose one of your opponent's battle cards and it loses 10,000 power for the duration of the turn. And it does have the permanent Sparking 5 of you can use a card from your life to play the counter instead of the energy, as long as you have 5 or more in the drop. So this guy's useful because it doesn't negate, slight concern. It's more the fact that you can take power from your opponent's cards, and doing that, like, your opponent tends to try not to attack whatever you've given the power to because it's too much of a bridge to gap. Well, too much of a gap to bridge. Like, it's too difficult for them to do, especially if the card's really got a high base power. Unless they really want to get rid of what you're playing, you can just stop an attack and weaken something of theirs that's going to hit you, or just kill something. So next we have 3 copies of Planet M2. So this is only at 3 because it's not super essential, but it's really nice to deck. And if you run it at 4, it just kind of clogs up and you lose battle cards, which means you lose combo pieces, which obviously you don't want. So it does have an auto of when you place it in the battle area, if you lose Dr. Mew, you draw a card. Not important. The main reason people run this is the active battle effect. So active battle, you switch this to rest. If it's your turn, choose it to one of your opponent's leader or battle cards and loses 5,000 power for the duration of battle. Obviously if it goes below 5 it dies. So this is a nice way to get around your opponent's defences. So you can't target a deadly defender, but if your opponent's like Sensu being their leader, or they've just gained power, like the red freezer you can just put it back down to a 15. It's just a nice way to weaken your opponent's units that you're going to attack into, or to just make sure that something else that couldn't hit is now a threat. So, like I said, you don't want too many, otherwise you clump up your deck. So next is part of a very small blue engine, but quite handy as I found. We have 2 copies of Sensu Bean. So obviously Sensu Bean being pay blue energy during the active battle, you choose 1 card against 5k and then switch 2 energy back to active mode. Which you should do, you shouldn't let your opponent do, but I forgot to do it, so oh well. So there's this and 2 other blue cards. It's good for offensive and defensive. Obviously you can extend plays or you can make your leader harder to hit. I also found that I needed the blue, like the very small amount of blue, as a somewhat anti-Shenron engine, because a lot of people that you play against will probably use a Shenron that can just wreck you if it attacks 3 times. So yeah, I'll go into it more once I've gone through the final card for the deck that is blue. So next there is 2 copies of Unending Awakening. Because it's kind of in the same category, we have 2 copies of the 2-drop Mafuba. So these are the outright negates for the deck. So Unending Awakening, you negate the attack, then choose one of your red Saiyan lead cards, which you are, and it gains 5,000 power for the turn. So obviously with Mafuba as well, your lead can be a 25 or 30 base. And Mafuba, you negate battle card's attack and you place this on the attacking card. At the end of your opponent's next turn, you place this into the drop, and obviously nothing can be done about the card that has been Mafuba'd.
You talked about Mafuba when you were referencing Sensu Bean for power.
Yeah. So one thing again to point out with Mafuba, if your opponent's card can't be negated, you can still play Mafuba on top of the card regardless. It just doesn't, like, it's really weird how it works, but like, I'd go into it, but it would just take too long. But it's just a quick, you can do that. That's why you run Mafuba. Again, it's part of the anti-Shenron engine, because something attacking 3 times that will kill you, you may as well just Mafuba it if you can. So going into the back cards, we have 4 copies of Baby Vengeance Unleashed. So it's a 1-drop 1k power, and it has Union and Absorb. So you choose one of your battle cards and place it under this card. If your lead card is a red machine mutant, which we are, choose one baby with an energy cost of 4 or less with the same character name as the card you placed under this card. Play it on top of this card, then shuffle your deck. So obviously there is a card for that, which is a Vegeta, so you place it on top of the Vegeta GT, I should say now, and you get its bigger version. So next we have 2 copies of Burnished Bonds Borgos, a very popular card from Barlock's crew. So it's a 1-drop 4k power, it has the auto of when you play, you draw a card, and the secondary auto is once per turn during your opponent's turn. If your opponent switches their energy to active mode using a non-awakened skill, choose which one of your opponent's energy and place it in the drop. So this is also the last blue card in the deck. If you're worried about Shenron, you can easily swap this out for Pilaf. I found this is very useful just because of its secondary auto. And if you don't see it, it doesn't matter, you can charge it and still get sensus off, which is more important. And next we have 4 copies of Dr. Mew under Babe's control. So 1 drop 5k, auto mini players card, look at 3 cards from the top of your deck, choose which one, Red Machine Mutant, or a card whose name includes Baby, add to your hand and shuffle the deck. So obviously this is how we deck fin our essential pieces for the deck. There is a good chance of missing on it, I found, but oh well. So next in the 2 drops we have 4 copies of Daily Training Vegeta. So this is our main absorption target from the 1 drop, because it's just 2 drop 10k and it has the auto when you play this card, draw a card. After that it's just a 10k beat stick, but obviously if you can union absorb, you can swing and then absorb it. Your finger comes out in active mode, so it's not a loss, and otherwise it's just a combo piece. So next we have 4 copies of Handy Giru, who is our super combo for the deck. So when your life's at 4 or less and your lead is red, draw a card, he gains 10,000 combo power. The reason I haven't swapped this out for, like, say, Bulma or Master Roshi is, well, there's a bit of overwhelm. There used to be a lot more overwhelm in the deck, but I had to cut it out. And also it's searchable, so having that, being able to find itself through Dr. Mew is really useful. It means if you're not getting something from Baby you want, maybe you want to keep it in the deck, you can just take a super combo. It's no real loss because you can self-awaken anyway and your opponent's probably going to be smacking you, so hitting 4 life isn't tricky, and the more searchable these guys are, the better. And finally in 2 drops we have 3 copies of Zarbon Hidden Potential. So this card is pretty nice for the deck. I love including it, and the moment I reread it as we opened the packs I was like, oh yeah, that's going in, baby. So 2.15k, it has to be 2 red, and it's the auto ability of when this card is KO'd, draw a card, then choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards and gets minus 15,000 power for the duration of turn. So obviously, working with this leader, it's the perfect target, because you swing the Zarbon, go for all the attack stuff, you activate your lead skill. So you pop the Zarbon, target the 2 cards they lose 10k. Then Zarbon triggers, so you draw a card and then target the 1 card and lose 15. So you can reduce something by 25, you can potentially just kill the board, and like I said, it's a perfect target for the lead's ability because it minuses it by 15, so you just outright kill Zarbon straight away. So there we go. Next we have a singular copy of the 3 drop Supreme Kai of Time Light's Guide. So it's got 15k, it's Overrealm free, and you also, when you play this card using Overrealm, if your leader is red or blue, choose 1 of your lead cards and gains 5,000 for the duration of turn, and then draw a card. So it's just a nice little power boost and draw mechanic. Afterwards you can just pop it, swing it, do what you want with it. It's only at 1 because I had the 1, but like I say, it's just a nice little way to draw cards and gain some power. And next we have 3 copies of Vegeta Powerful as Ever. So see, 3 drop, again 2 red, 15k, and you also, when this KOs an opponent's battle card, deal 1 damage to their life. I did run more of this originally, but I've had to cut it down for the 5 drop. It's also the more annoying target for the deck compared to Daily Training, and you'd rather have this on the board and you'd only absorb it if you know your opponent's going to kill it because it didn't kill something of theirs. But it's just a handy little card to have, and having it free means you do see it and you can potentially take an opponent's life with it, even if they use a blocker. So going into the like must-see part of the deck that quite a few people will be checking this video out for, we have 4 copies of the Saiyan Strength Baby. So this is what you bring out with the 1-drop Baby and the whatever Vegeta GT you intend to eat. So 4-drop 20k power, has double strike, and when you play this card, so regardless of how you play it with NG or the Absorb, if your lead card is the Red Machine Mutant, draw a card, then choose one of your opponent's battle cards and it loses 20,000 power for the duration of turn. So obviously very useful. If you get it off quick enough, it's very deadly to your opponent because they're not really prepared for it. So I'll put them there for now. So next in the 5-drops we have 3 copies of Super Baby 1 Parasitic Menace. So this has really revived the deck in the eyes of like the meta, and it's really nice. So it's 5-drop 25k power. It has EX Evolve, so you place it on top of a red baby with an energy cost of 4. There's no cost to the EX Evolve as well, you just dump it on this guy. It's just like, oh, EX Evolve, done. And he still has double strike, so it's a little bit more powerful than double strike. And he has the auto ability of when a card evolves into this card, so you have to evolve it, you can't just play it. You draw a card, then choose it to one of your opponent's battle cards. It loses minus 5,000 power for the duration of turn, and you can't play a second one for the duration of turn. Like, it's worded as you can't play Namesake for the duration of turn, so you can only play one a turn basically. And he has the activation of you pay red energy, you choose one baby card with an energy cost of 6 from your hand and play it on top of this card. So you pay your 1 energy to bring out this one, which again I run 3 of. So we have the 6-drop Epochal Grudge Grade 8 Baby. So it's a 6-drop 30k power. It does have an evolve cost for 4 energy, 2 being red, 2 colours, on top of anything with baby in its name. So it can be the 1-drop. It has triple strike, and the auto of once per turn, when this card attacks or your opponent plays a battle card, if your lead card is Red Machine Mutant, draw a card, then choose it to one of your opponent's battle cards, and then one of your opponent's battle cards loses 20,000 power for the duration of turn. So during your opponent's turn, that has to activate on the first card they play. So if it has barrier, that's really annoying. But otherwise, you draw a card, you can basically kill something. When you attack, you can draw again, so it's kind of like having a secondary leader attack. But so I run a free lineup for these guys, partially because I only have 3 of the 5-drop here, but you don't want too many of the 6-drop, otherwise you can't clog yourself up. I mean, you might decide to run 4, I am considering it again, but for now 3 is a good number. Obviously this guy makes your Grade 8 much easier to play, because beforehand you were having to save your 4-drop or do a 5 energy cost with the 1-drop and this evolve. So it's definitely brought the deck back to life, but like, everyone's lineup is different. I've done this because this is what I think is best. So, and obviously you might do something different. But that being said, that is my Vegeta Baby deck profile. As always, thanks for watching. Leave thoughts in the comments, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.